Glossophobics has been endangered with the obscene reality of not making informed choices just because they cannot speak without fear or prejudice. It is with this opening I want to welcome you all to the third edition of Quest, the Antiglossophobic, reaching here live on Multimedia Plus online television, and of course our Facebook page, the Anti-Glossophobia Academy. I am your host, Augustine Martinez. In today's edition, I will be opening your eyes and bringing you to the 10 tips of a better public speaking by the Antiglossophobic himself. I am your host once again, Augustine Martinez. To start with, nervousness is normal, which is said to be the very first tip. Nervousness is normal. Every human being do feel some psychological reactions, such as you having a pounding heart, sweating palms, and clammy hands as well, which means it is something that is very much natural for each and every human being. But as a public speaker, you can navigate such by having a trust in yourself and developing self-confidence. Secondly, we have know your audience. Knowing your audience comes with 3 consecutive questions. Who are you addressing? Who your message is intended for? And how far do you intend your message to go? By knowing these 3 questions comes with an answer of you staying your choice of word within the confinement of your audience. So at the ending of the day, you will know the choice of word utilizing and speaking to people or addressing people in a particular matter. So as a public speaker, you need to know your audience. By doing so, you will be able to present a very beautiful speech or public speaking. Thirdly, we have organize your material in the most effective way to attain your purpose. Of course, in knowing your materials comes with the question of, again, who is your audience? Who are you addressing? So at the ending of the day, you get to prepare your material in the most effective way to attain your purpose. For instance, I'm giving a lecture on public speaking. I must stay within the confinement of public speaking without going beyond to something else which is not public speaking, because I am still within the confinement of the topic itself, my subject, my material, which has to do with public speaking, so that I will definitely attain my purpose as a public speaker. Fourthly, we have watch for feedback and adapt to it. At the ending of the day, sometimes speakers start by giving speeches and they tend to be very much bored with the very starting. By doing what? They tend to go straight to the point by saying, oh, my name is Augustine Martin, I will be teaching public speaking. Oh, that's very much bored. Let me open your eyes to watching for feedback and adapt to it. The moment you start a speech and your audience tends to be very much noisy, which means you are either not captivating enough for them, or you have one way or the other deviated from your cause itself. That is why you need to watch for feedback and adapt to it. By so doing, you attain your purpose as a public speaker. Fifth, we have let your personality come through. Of course, it is very much beautiful to imitate, but come on, not to an extent that the person in you gets to lose entirely. That is why you need to let your personality come through. If you're used to be speaking like this, make sure you speak the normal way you used to speak, not to impress anybody by saying, oh, hello everybody. No, this is very much undone. You have to let your personality come through, so at the end of the day, people get to understand that exactly you are the individual speaking. I don't need to be speaking at the end of people say, oh, he doesn't sound like Augustine Martin, he sounds like somebody else. So that is why as a public speaker, you always have to let your personality come through whenever you're doing a speech or public speaking, so that you can attain your purpose. The moment you deviate from letting your personality come through, you will get the audience very much noisy and you will deviate their minds from your speech itself. The 6th point says, utilize humor, the use of humor. As a public speaker, you must make sure you utilize humor, as in telling stories, making joke, and at least be funny. I have witnessed some speeches made by speakers where they are very much official. That is why if you want to be a better speaker whenever you're doing a public speech, you must make sure you utilize humor, as humor do motivate audience and also captivate them whenever you are doing a public speech. The 7th point says, don't read unless you are working from an outline or outlet. Which simply means if you are a public speaker, if you are given a presentation, of course, it is expected from you to utilize a projector in giving your speech, but not as in giving a motivational speech or inspirational speech or any speech that requires you not to utilize any outline or outlet. So as a public speaker, you don't need to read unless you are working from an outline or outlet. The 8th tip here says, use your voice and hands effectively. Of course, there is a saying which says, action speaks louder than voice. As I'm doing action like this, demonstrating, utilize my face to demonstrate some of the things in which I am deliberating on, which simply means I am using my voice and hands effectively to talk to you as I'm lecturing so far. So as a public speaker, sometimes it is required of you to utilize your hands as in demonstrating, to utilize your voice whenever you're doing your public speech. For instance, if you're giving a condolence speech, sometimes it is required of you to speak in a very calm manner. Just like you speak like, today we lost a brother. We lost a brother. You know, you showing such a reaction means you are speaking from your heart, and especially that has to do with sorrow. You need to utilize your voice and hands effectively whenever you are doing such a public speaking. And the 9th tip here says, grab the attention at the beginning and close with a dynamic one. I have seen speakers that are very much bored, and that really pisses me off. If you want to be a very good and inspiring public speaker, you must grab the attention at the beginning and close with a dynamic one. That is why I do advise people out there who want to be a better public speaker to have 4 things in mind whenever they want to start speech. The very first one has to do with quotation. You either utilize a quotation that is relating to that of your topic of discussion, or you utilize a story that is also in relation to that of the topic of discussion, or you utilize a strong statement that is relating to what you are discussing as well. Or the very last one, you ask a question that is as well relating to what you are lecturing. So at the ending of the day, you will definitely captivate the minds of your audience at that beginning and close with a dynamic one as well. The 10th tip here says, the utilization of audiovisual aids. I have attended programs that has to do with motivation. Sometimes you see that there is an instrument playing at the background when the speaker is speaking. It gives so much emotion, as people tend to love and listen to each and every line of that speaker. It is captivating. It touches the audience's emotion as in giving public speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 10 tips to a better public speaking by the Antiglossophoia himself. Practicing always will never make you perfect, but I do believe as you practice and rehearse much more often before a presentation or any public speaking, I believe it will help you out to give a better public speaking or presentation. This is how I draw down the curtains of today's edition. Be reminded that you are watching us here live on Multimedia Plus online television, and of course our Facebook page, the Anti-Glossophobia Academy. Thank you all for watching me. Until I catch up with you again for our next edition. But I must remind you all that I will be hosting Thomas Mokonte, one of the renowned speakers in Sierra Leone, in deliberation of public speaking as well. Thank you so much. I am your host, Augustine Martin Martinez.